to Getting to Gold. We're here at 6 p.m. Eastern time. I hope you guys can make it. We have such a dope episode for you guys today. We are going to be talking about building a lasting legacy with the beautiful, illustrious Jasmine Haley. Y'all know she's popping. Do you see this shirt? It's patterns. We got patterns. I am your host, Jessica Bull. I am the managing attorney at J. Bull Consulting Firm, LLC, where we help creative and entrepreneurs build and start and create and protect strong businesses and have a strong legal foundation. If you don't know about us, check us out. Today we have Jasmine. Jasmine is going to be talking about building a lasting legacy and talking about her journey to entrepreneurship. As you know, guys, on the conversation, what do we have? Conversations. So why don't we go ahead and get into it? Jasmine, tell us about yourself. Tell us what you do. Tell us what you're about. Welcome to Getting to Gold.
Well, first of all, Jessie, I'm so excited to be here and to talk with you. I just love your energy and love what you're doing, especially for entrepreneurs. So, hey, y'all. I'm Jasmine Haley. I'm a national awarded speaker. I'm a podcaster, pro-educator, and I'm a biz strategist. And essentially what I do is I help women overcome their fear, self-doubt, get their business-ish organized, because many of us are out there doing a whole bunch of things, and getting them to the place where they can grow and scale their business to 6 figures or more. So I'm focused mainly on that because I know for me, growing up the way I did in a disadvantaged background and getting to 6 figures, it seemed like something that was really far-fetched for me. And I think, statistically, 90% of women don't even reach 6 figures in their business. Wow. And there's some fundamental things there that are preventing us from really getting to a place where we're taking that leap and really becoming CEOs of our business and not just passion project owners.
Wow. Okay. That sounds really dope. And we are definitely going to talk some more about that. But first, let's start. We always like to start from the beginning, right? Like, I know you didn't just wake up and was like, you know what I'm going to do? Help people make 6 figures. So why don't you share with us your journey, kind of how you got to kind of where your business is now, and what was your motivation to getting in that, or starting that journey, I should say?
That's a great question, because first of all, I wasn't even thinking about this. In fact, when I was around 13 or so, I was dreaming about teeth. That's it. So I went to I went to a vocational high school in New York City, Queens, and I did a dental assisting program there, graduated, went forward into dental hygiene school. Thought I was going to go into dental school, but I decided to fall in love and start a family and career in another direction. So I chose to focus in the public health realm, working with persons living with HIV and substance disorder. And after working in public health, went into education and started doing that full time. So I became a college educator. I actually happened to go into a position that was very toxic for me. It was very difficult for me to cope with the level of stress that was there, in addition to some of the toxic behaviors and bullying behaviors that was at that place.
Wow.
I was there too long, wind up suffering with migraines, debilitating stomach pains, going to the emergency room left and right. They're telling me nothing is wrong. And I'm like, something is wrong. My body is reacting this way. And what I realized was that it was stress-induced workplace burnout.
Wow.
It was crazy. And so my mother happened to pass away unexpectedly as I was teaching. And my mom was a single parent. There were 6 of us. She made a lot of sacrifices. One of the things she never got a chance to do was fulfill her dreams, fulfill her goals. And a year after her passing, after going out to go to a dinner with my husband and my girls, who were celebrating our anniversary, when we got back home, I wound up having such sharp pain. I'm curled up, laid up on the floor in the bathroom. And my little girl, she says, "Mommy, what's wrong?" And then all of a sudden it clicked. A year after my mother's passing, I'm sitting here, laid up on the floor, right, in pain for a job? Like, no, you're not going to do this. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard Les Brown say this. One of his biggest quotes is that the richest place on the earth It's not Dubai. It's not Los Angeles. It's not these prominent places that we hear. It's the graveyard. And that's because hopes, dreams, books that were never written, goals that were never achieved are filled up in that graveyard. And one of those people is my mom, right? So I decided at that time to start working on myself personally, healing what I needed to heal in here. And within a few short months, y'all, I started my business, didn't know what the heck I was doing, and left my job. And supplemented that business with, doing part-time teaching, wound up becoming an educational consultant for the School of Medicine at University of Maryland. And I side hustled that joker like it was nobody's business. Grew it to 6 figures. And now I help other women do the same.
Wow. Jasmine, that was amazing. Like, okay, so there's so many little nuggets in there and we are going to just unpack it. So what I really love about your story is that you got into a situation, you were like, you know what? I don't have to do this. I don't have to be like this. And it's funny because I didn't, my situation or the way I started my firm was I had this whole plan, in 5 years, I'm going to start a firm after I do this, and this, and this. And what I found myself is I was a prosecutor for about a year. And then I found myself in a predicament because I could not get a job. And I shared this on my social media. So people who follow or have, I've shared this story where I was applying to hundreds. Like I think I applied to over 200 legal jobs and I could not get a job for nothing. And I was like, you know what I'm not going to do? Waste this degree, waste this license. I'm going to go out and start this law firm. And that's exactly what I did. I just leapt. And that's what I want to encourage you guys. Like, did you hear Jasmine there? She said, listen, I had to hustle on the side. I had to figure it out, but I wasn't going to stay in a situation or circumstance that was causing me pain. For me, I just was jobless. I was like, okay, I'm not working, but I can create a job. So that is what I love about the story. I completely relate to that. And that kind of like can do like move forward attitude. So why don't you kind of talk to us a little bit more? So you say you grew your business from a 6-figure business. So that is great, amazing. And then we know that particularly in the Black community, that is very difficult to do in general. So why don't you kind of talk to us or give us a couple of tips or things that you learned along your journey that can help other business owners kind of take their business to, or in the direction of 6 figures? Like give us like 3 things that they can do to kind of start in that direction.
Okay, so I would say one of the main reasons why many of us have a difficulty in doing this is, one, you don't know who the heck you are.
What does that mean? What does that mean? What do you mean they don't know who they are?
You don't know who you are. So like one of the components of one of the things I teach my clients is, you remember Birdman when he came into that interview with the Breakfast Club and he was like, put some respect on my name. You remember that?
Okay. Yes, I do. Who doesn't? It was a meme.
Okay, so like literally we have to come to a point where we understand our God-given talents and what our strengths are first. You really need to understand that because that's what you need to lean in on. When we come into business thinking that we got to do what X, Y, and Z is doing because they're making it and this person and that person, this is our own personal journey. And when you are confident enough in your God-given abilities, that will stop you from making decisions that are sending you off here, all over the place. Okay. A lot of people can't stay focused because we're keeping our mind on things that really have nothing to do with who we are as a person. So I would say the first, understand your strengths and then lean into that. Lean into those strengths as much as you can.
That's good. That's good. Okay, so number 1, know yourself, guys. Lean into your strengths. Okay, number 2.
Yeah, and if you don't know, ask someone that cares about you, of course. Like, ask them, what are they? Or take a shot.
You better ask somebody. Is right? That's the song.
You get me, Jasmine. Okay. All right. So I would say the second step for if you're ready to get into that business of moving towards 6 figures is that you got to get organized. You have to get organized. Okay. And organization is going to help you to be able to outsource at some point. So problem is that we want to do all the things. I've done this, okay? We're not organized. We don't have, we don't have an email list going on. We don't even know what direction we're going. We're not planning out our goals. We say we want 6 figures, but we have no idea what offers, how much money we need to make for that month, that week, that year, that quarter, whatever, to even get there. You know, and so a lot of us we have this dream. We're heart-centered. We want to make this impact, and then we forget about, well, how did we get there? Well, you got to plan for that. You have to plan. And many of us we have influential strengths. We're not about executing down the tank. So I would say get your business organized and, you know, create some systems in place so that you can onboard. And we can talk later what that means. And then the third tip would be understanding how to create brand authority. So that's a really big one, because most of us are posting. However, we're not even really thinking about building a community, how to build a community, how to be our authentic self in our brand. And then also for women especially, we have a hard time as we're building our brand and learning how to flex. We don't flex enough. And for me, growing up in like a Christian background, you were told to be humble. You were told to, like, you know, quiet down, don't make too much noise, don't bring too much attention to yourself. As a business owner, you have to.
It's called marketing.
Yes.
It's called marketing. No, that's what it's called. Yeah.
Yes, you've got to market yourself. You got to show that social proof. You got to show your value, and then don't be thinking twice about it. Like some people, like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not posting too much. No, if you're not sounding like a broken record, you ain't right. Let's go. Like, you want to be known for something. Stop doing 50 million different things. Make sure that you have clear strategy on when someone says, I want to, you know, grow my business to 100K. I want them to say, reach out to Jasmine Haley.
Yes, because they know exactly what you're doing. Yep. That's exactly right. Okay, Jazz. Okay, so Jasmine gave us 3 tips, right? Because we're talking about right now is the question was, how can you start the process to make 6 figures? And Jasmine gave us 3 tips that we can do. Number 1 was know yourself and your God-given talents, right? You have to know you. And we said, if you don't know, you better ask somebody. That's what we said. Okay. You want to get organized. Okay. I understand this is not your strength. Get your folders, get your notebooks, figure out how to use a Trello, Asana, ClickUp, something, boo, get on YouTube, figure out how to organize your business, because when we're building a business, it might just be you right now, but it will not be you forever. And so you want to start building systems in place. Listen, I'll be preaching systems from the rooftop. You want to build systems in place because that is literally the only way to scale. It is not plausible for you to build a business with just you. One, you're not that talented. There is something you're not good at. You know what I'm not good at? Canva. I had to learn how to use Canva. But let me tell y'all something. I had to go get somebody to help me, okay? Because listen, I can write this contract for you, but these little designs you talking about, struggle. So you got to go where your genius is, all right? So get organized. And the last one was understanding how to make your brand authority. And that is so important. And what she is saying is, like, you can't be everything to everybody, but what you are needs to be clear and concise. Jasmine says she helps people build a 6-figure business. Y'all know what we do here at J Bull Consulting. We are all about the small businesses. We are all about entrepreneurs. We are all about protecting your brand and building it. And y'all know I'll be screaming, get your LLC. So you already know what J Bull Consulting is about. And now y'all know what Jasmine is about. So Jasmine, that is so awesome. So thank you for sharing that. I kind of want to go back, and this is like a question I ask like any entrepreneur. What surprised you, right? What surprised you when you kind of launched into this entrepreneur journey? What surprised you, or what obstacles did you face that were expected or unexpected? And how did you kind of try to surpass them? Or if you're still going through it, you know, how are you trying to surpass it? We got to talk about the good and the bad. We got to talk about the good and the bad. We got to even it out.
Yeah, you know, honestly, well, I'm always going to be honest, because here's the thing. Like, I honestly feel that business is a spiritual journey. And let me tell you why. I have gotten to know myself more in these 4.5 years of my business. I think one of the biggest lessons I've had to learn was kind of handling some of the trauma and scarcity mindset, things that I saw as a child that were affecting my money story. What I saw was struggle. What I saw was how we're going to pay our bill for the next month, right? And that's the type of stuff you bring into a business. Now, color, when I first before I did my business pivot to what I'm doing right now, I was in a different field. I was in healthcare. And at that time, when I decided, okay, I want to start speaking, there was no one that looked like me. Not one person of color.
Wow.
So I had to be so firm in my passion and what it is that I wanted to, the impact I wanted to make onto that. So the biggest thing for me is the spiritual journey of understanding myself, is healing some of the traumas and some of the narratives that were formed in either, institutionally that we've seen as a person, or some of the struggles that I've seen even from my family and even my mother. All of that needed to be worked out. And so that is something that I'm consistently involving in. The inner work in. We have to get to a point where we say, like, you are worthy, you are enough, you're worthy and deserving of earning 6 figures or more. Like, I have goals. I want to have $1 million business in 3 years. And that takes a certain level of me peeling away of those layers and saying that it's okay to say that out loud. It's okay to want that. It's okay to want to make an impact and grow a team and care for your family and be a whole woman at the same time with a business. That's okay. And I think that was my biggest challenge. And even this year with my business pivot and just focusing on helping women scale their business to 6 figures, that took a measure of confidence, bravery, and faith. Like, that's why I say the number one piece is understanding who you are and being confident in that. Because each level that you are going to grow in your business is going to try you. I wrote this literally days ago. All of my edges have been literally snatched.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. But yet I'm still here. And like, so again, it's that inner work, I feel, that has been the biggest challenge, but also the blessing for me, because I walk rooms differently now. I come into spaces differently, and all of that is from my work that I've done in owning this business.
I think that's completely relevant. And, thank you for sharing that, because I too had to figure out, like, when you're building your business, you are the foundation of your business. And so the more healthy you are, the mindset you have directly links to the prosperity that's going to come. And that's completely correct. I know that there are entrepreneurs out there who don't even know, like, wait, how do I even get to 6 figures? What does that even look like? You're undercharging, you don't have a process in place, because you're saying something, but you don't actually believe it, because maybe you grew up poor, or maybe you didn't have access to certain things. And having that inner work is very important. I completely agree. Like, the healthier I am, the better my business flows. The better I am, the more I can think, because it's really hard to be imaginative, right? It's really hard to think scales and business when you are dealing with trauma and you're just like, you know what I can't do today? Get out of the bed because I'm depressed. So that is completely correct. That inner work is very important and very relevant to building a business, and can definitely pose an obstacle. And which is why sometimes being in coaching and being in communities is so important, because it's not just about showing you how to build a system. I can show you how to build a system, but you got to pull the lever, and the mind is how you pull the lever. The mind is how you get the execution. So that is so important. And we talked a lot about the mind last week in our last episode about having a growth mindset. And so that completely makes sense. And you're going to hear that over and over. Anyone who's running a business knows you got to have that, like your mind, whoo, child, she'll get you. So we're going to ask, how can you thrive while creating your professional legacy? Because that's the question you really posed to me, right? How can you thrive while creating your professional legacy?
So, I want to encourage each of you, especially if you happen to have a personality like me. I am a complete type A, wannabe control freak. Okay.
I'm sure you are in good company.
Like it's nobody's business. I am also someone that will work. So when people experience trauma, right? They either go through a completely depressive state, right? Where they can't do anything, or then they fill their plate up with so much stuff because that's how they're coping. It's by being busy. Well, I'm that person.
Okay.
And so to have a thriving life or professional life, it really boils down to you with getting centered with, again, what do you want? Like understanding what you want and then tailoring your life based on that. Now, that tailoring is going to require you to make boundaries.
Ooh.
And I'm telling you that when you come from, and many of us have dealt with this, whether you may have had a great upbringing, that's wonderful, but somewhere, somehow you dealt with some trauma. Because that's what statistics show.
Mm-hmm.
And some of us cope with it different than others. And a lot of us, we don't have boundaries in our personal life. We don't have boundaries in our professional. We don't have boundaries in our business. So we let certain toxic environments or behaviors enter in our life. You have people who come into our life. You have those certain person that you just cringe when they're calling you or texting you, because they want something and all they do is suck you dry.
Oh my goodness.
So having a thriving life, or, okay, let me put up another one. You're checking your email all day and all night.
Oh, that's a good one.
You're checking your messages. You feel like you have to answer right away, or you don't have boundaries within your email. People calling you all times of night. Like, having a thriving life is a choice. And what choices are you making? What legacy do you want to have? What's your purpose? And finding that out is how you can really create a strong professional legacy that is equally tied to your personal legacy. Every decision that we make, every encounter that we have. So how are you making a space for you to be happy? Just be happy. Like, how many of us can actually say that what we're doing right now, we're happy?
I'm happy. I'm happy. I love my job.
Easy place though, because when you choose you, or when you choose something that you enjoy, I call this, when I do this in my keynote, I call this legacy snatchers. And legacy snatchers.
I like that.
Who do you think you are? Right? I've had someone, I remember once I gave this lady wanted to speak to me. She emailed me, and so I sent her my calendar schedule. That's my boundary. You're not getting my phone number. Okay. So I gave it to her, and she wound up seeing me. I happened to be graduating with my master's degree. I was still working on my business, and she came to me and she said, I was very offended when you sent that calendar schedule.
Interesting. People would be mad offended with me because I'd be like, here go the calendar. Go ahead, hop on.
She was offended, and she actually said that she asked herself, who do I think I am?
Wow.
For years. And I had my business for like 2 years, something like that. And I said, that's interesting, right? That you said that. I created the schedule so that I can have time with my family. I'm not going to be on all the time. This is my set time because I have a life outside of my business. And you know what that lady said to me? She said,
no, what you said?
She said, you know what? I respect that. Because when I had my business, I was getting phone calls during dinner time. there was no boundaries in her life. We live in a culture of, if this people pleasing, I don't know if that's a part of that. There's so many things where it's okay to burn yourself out. And so we have to get to a point where we're like, no, I'm not going to do that. And watch out for those legacy snatchers who will always push up on those boundaries. Always.
Listen, Jasmine, you ain't saying nothing but a word, because that is exactly correct. Okay. Especially for my service providers out here. Did y'all hear what Jasmine said? Listen, y'all, if you do not have a calendar, if you do not use Calendly, Acuity, I don't care what you're using. If you are not using a calendar, you are sorely, sorely mistaken. You need to use a calendar, number one. Number two is this legacy snatchers. I love that. I like that. I like that a lot. And it's completely true, right? When you're building your business, you create the environment, you create how your clients are going to treat you, right? So if you create an environment where you're always accessible and there's the only companies that can do that are companies who they're paying other people to do that. No one expects you to compete on that level when you are a solo, right? And any client who wants that kind of access to you is not your ideal client. Now, I'm not saying you don't want to make a calendar where you're never available, right? Like, don't get crazy on me. You got an hour a week. Nobody can work with that. Okay. But like you got to be clear. You got to be clear. I'm trying to be clear with y'all. But what you want to do is you want to designate. This is just a tip. You want to designate days. This is what I have found has worked really helpful, and Jasmine can chime in. I have found that I have designated client days. So Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Friday. Boo, if you want to talk to me, you can hop on a phone. Okay, we can talk. I got night days, I got night hours, I got day hours, and we can hop on the phone. Mondays and Wednesdays, I do not accept client calls because one, all them clients I'm talking to, I got to do their work at some point, right? And I can't keep fielding calls all through the day. I also have a team. I got to talk to them. I got to coordinate with them. We have ongoing projects. Also, I might just need to go get my hair done, okay? I might just need to get my hair done on a Monday. So now I'm able to cater to my clients because they know every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, right? Because you're creating that consistency with your clients. They know when you're available. And okay, I know on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 11 to 3, I'm accepting appointments. So if someone wants to meet up with me or do something with me, the likelihood will be Monday and Wednesday. And you can schedule things out in advance. It's really hard to plan in advance and have that legacy and have that balance, which was going to be my next question. How can individuals balance their personal and professional life? She was already talking about it, guys. Part of that legacy is being able to balance your personal and professional life. When you left your 9 to 5, I mean, if they weren't being toxic, you were done for the day. It's the same thing. Set your hours and stick to them. Just because you're up working at 11 p.m. doesn't mean you have to email the client back. You better schedule it so that it pops up in their email at 10 a.m. because if they know they have access to you, they're going to keep emailing you. And that's just not going to help you. And if I said a word, say amen. Amen. Because I felt that in my soul. I was like, yes, Jasmine, you have to do this, guys. So listen, we are getting close to the end of the hour, and I want to make sure that everything you want to, y'all, did y'all hear? Don't forget, get away from the legacy snatchers. I love that so much. Jasmine, what do you want us to leave with today? If someone's just hopping on and they've watched it, what do you hope that they walk away with today?
I want them to know primarily that I'm going to say choose you. Choose you. I think that was the biggest lesson for me. Now, does that mean that I don't care for my family? My daughter's got their own business this year, right?
Awesome.
11 and 9, right? I am leaving my drafts of my legacy in other ways, but I want you to choose you in a sense where you prioritize your mind, right? Your body and what's meaningful for you, and just no longer allow the world and their sense of urgency to be placed on your life or your business.
That's so good.
When you get clear on that, when you say, well, what does Jasmine want? I want to make $100K for this year. I just want to make $3,000 for this month. What's that going to look like for me? Especially for your entrepreneurs right now that are working a 9 to 5, because I know what that's like. You really don't have time to waste. So be very clear on what that is and make sure you plan for that accordingly. Choose you in all instances. Don't overextend yourself in things you really don't want to do. Be fully honest with yourself and let that guide you along the way.
That is exactly correct. Guys, she's saying choose yourself, and that's okay. And I'm not gonna add anything to that because that was a great takeaway. So guys, if Jasmine, you're like, you know what? I like this lady. She's pretty cool. I want to learn more. You can actually find her. The descriptions are in the box, but just in case you don't read, it's at facebook.com/it's Jasmine Haley. And then it's instagram.com at it's Jasmine Haley, just like she spelled it here. And then guess what, guys? You can find her at jasminehaley.com. Okay, so I think it's very consistent. All you have to do is find her at Jasmine Haley, just like she spelled it, right there at the bottom of the screen and in the description box.
Without an E. I'm without an E, y'all.
Without an E. That was very clear, everyone. So listen, Jasmine, thank you so much.
You're awesome.
I'll be cutting up, but it's okay. We're getting to gold here at Getting to Gold, episode unknown. Jasmine, it's been such a pleasure having you on. And if you enjoyed her today, guys, I would encourage you to hit her up on Instagram if you have any follow-up questions, or you just know someone who could really benefit from working with her or even talking to her. Please go check out her social media. And I also included her email that is also in the description box. So if you want to email her and work with her, you can do that as well. Jasmine, thank you for coming on to Getting to Gold. And I hope all of you are wearing your mask. I hope you're wearing your mask. And catch us next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook Live, JBull Consulting. Have a good rest of the day, evening, morning, whenever you're watching this. Bye-bye, y'all.